Hello and welcome to Wrestleopinionated. This is our weekly show all about the shows of AEW. We are your hosts. I am Morg and this is...
Elaborate Subriquet, Matt Strange, and this is...
Losing blood quickly, Muir.
I'm
Not again.
afraid to ask.
Not again.
No, I'm fine at the moment.
He's got a nose... The best way and easiest way to explain this is he's got a nose problem and he has nosebleeds all the time, and sometimes he has to go and get his nose cauterized. I haven't made any of this up.
I've known people that have this issue. So what have you both been up to this week? Anything exciting?
Bleeding.
I found Fight in Small Spaces on Steam
cool
and
game.
played it for about 20 hours. It's only been out like 2 days. It's wonderful. But otherwise, no under the wonders of you can't go outside. Still not a lot interesting happening in my life.
I'm playing an interesting run through of RimWorld. I think the best way to put it is it's interesting.
He's playing extreme cannibalism, from what I've heard. Like, you
the
know,
only resources I have, humans. Those are my only resource I have. I have to harvest humans, survive in the winter just with humans, and that's it. It's pretty grim, but it's good fun.
Manskin coats. What about you, Morg? You've been doing anything actually exciting?
I've watched 3 episodes of WandaVision.
God, the first 2 were boring.
It's a comedy show of its time. I know it's going to be very slow start.
In anime terms, it's a slice of life. Hi there, I'll be your weeb king for this discussion.
Yeah, but I'd rather watch a decent slice of life wrote in 2020, setting instead of 1950s setting, so it's a real slow pace because it's 1950s.
Yeah,
I recommend Mob Psycho.
I would also recommend Mob Psycho. Or Bundo Stray Dogs.
So, moving on.
Welcome to our anime podcast, where I talk about how Bungo Stray Dogs is the best anime in years. And
when is it the Joshi hour? Come on! Right, anyway, let's get back on.
So this might be the first time you've listened to our podcast, and as such, you would need to know that we have a tier list, which is how we give our scores for BTE and Dark as a whole, and for the matches and Dynamite as a whole. And Mr. Strange will now explain our tier list in some form or another.
It's sadly without funk this week because I got too excited in looking up the history of Too Sweet. More on that later. Tier system, you probably know it from Japanese computer games, probably Western computer games now, and YouTube channels like this one, but also a podcast channel. We go up in rank. D is our lowest ranking match. A D rank match is a bad match. Maybe it's too quick, maybe it's too one-sided, maybe it's just shitty. D rank match, not a good match. From there, we move up to a C. C is what we should have as our average match. This means it should be a good match. Enough story, good enough wrestling. Tilt a bit in either direction, but either way, you want to be invested and you want it to be good. From there, B. B is normally a match of the night, though sometimes we've had a blessed run of good matches all throughout. The match plus 1. B rank match has story, has to have story. Has good wrestling. Once again, can tilt a bit in either other direction, but you've had a good time watching it. Really good wrestling. You're not bored. The A rank match is sometimes our match of the night, more often match of the month. The A rank match has everything. Has to have everything. Has to have good story going in, good story coming out. Has to have good wrestling in the ring. Nobody moonsaults onto their own head or anything like that. The A rank match, just a really good match. We'll talk about it for a while. From there, we move up to the top of our tier, the S match, the Super, the Sugoi. It's got fucking everything. We've had a plot build-up, and the plot build-up has been great. We've got plot going out, regardless of who wins. The story is either concluding or continuing on. Our characters have grown. The wrestling is phenomenal. You have wicked spots. You talk about it for years after and make everybody watch Pentagon versus the Black Lotus Triad. It's back, boys. It's back. S rank matches are the things of legends. That's our scale. D, shitty. B, good. B, shitty. C, good. B, very good. A, amazing. S, superb. Boom.
And more on high-ranked matches later?
Yes.
Moving on, time for the news. And I believe Mr. Muir has something quite large you wish to discuss.
Sort of upset me quite a bit that they're doing this, but AEW's trying to trademark the hand gesture Too Sweet. Which
It's shitty.
Yeah, it's beyond shitty, and they shouldn't do it. It's like me going, "Oh, Morg does something cool. I'm going to do it once, then trademark it." You know?
I think this is. I think this is just a middle finger to Dubsy, because Dubsy obviously didn't trademark it when they sent their cease and desist when they got the rights to NWA.
But who will this piss off more? Dubsy and the senile old man in charge of it, or the people that have a faction that do this hand gesture that we would like
you
them
have
actually
essentially taken?
Yes.
Like, I appreciate that long ago, Kevin Nash and his friends made a cool hand gesture. Apparently, found
With
a cool hand
undertones.
gesture. Shall I explain the origin of it now, or shall I wait till Morg asks me for social media?
I think you should. Okay, yeah, we can wait for it on social media if you want.
Because I was meant to be looking up social media, but then I got distracted by the origins of Too Sweet. Either way, if anybody's going to copyright it, it should be Kevin Nash, Trips, Shawn Michaels, and X-Pac. But instead, all you're going to do is piss off all the people on the indies who did it. The faction in Japan that started you doing it.
Yes.
Bucks and fucking Kenny weren't originally in Bullet Club. Gallows and Anderson were, don't get me wrong. But then sort of, and it's not even Impact that's...
No.
It's mean-spirited.
And it makes you look like the bad guys instead of the good guys. That's the biggest issue for it.
Disney copywriting or trying to claim anything to do with Cinderella because they've made a Cinderella film, and arguably they've made the most iconic Cinderella film, but they didn't write Cinderella. At least I hope not. Pick Beauty and the Beast if they did.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that sounds like a ludicrous comparison, but Too Sweet is like a 30-year-old piece of wrestling history that's been used across promotions, countries.
It's what Clay used to do to each other, when they were on WC Dubs and WWE.
Yeah, little signs to each other. Oh yeah, WC Dubs as well.
Yeah.
I don't like it. That's bad AEW.
And
bad. Stop it.
It just makes
Shad doesn't watch this. It's Nick Jackson. I figured it out. Sorry.
It's Nick Jackson. Okay, yeah, I get you. Yeah, basically, bad news. Don't do this. Makes you look like bad capitalism.
And so it's quite dark news today then.
Yeah.
So moving on to social media.
So, right, here we go.
History with Matthew Strange.
Whilst I was looking up Tamatonga's responses to the EW Bullet Club, Budget Club. Tama actually put up a tweet just saying cease and desist, so I assume they're going to try something.
Yeah,
I wondered, what does Kevin Nash think of this? Fab. So I started looking it up, and I found an interview where they're talking about the origins of the Too Sweet hand signal.
Yep.
And they were like, "Oh, it's called the Turkish Wolf."
Yep.
Triple H calls it the something else wolf, and
the Roman wolf.
The Roman wolf, and the other sort of laughed at him and just call it the Too Sweet. Turns out the Turkish wolf is the hand signal of the Grey Wolves, which are the militant neo-fascist, nationalistic, extremely Islamic politics group in Turkey. So much so that they've been banned. Like, you cannot do that hand signal, apparently, in France, different parts of Europe, Austria. And so, yeah, it's like a little Islamic Turkish Zeke Heil, basically.
I was about to say, are we saying this is effectively that hand gesture associated with the Nazis? I can't remember what because that's not the official name of it, but I can't remember what that is.
Yeah, it is the Zeke Heil for all intents and purposes. Yes.
Yeah, basically, it's Turkey's. They're Turkey's Nazis, and I just imagine this bunch of wrestlers one day seeing that hand signal and hearing it's called the Turkish Wolf, and just going,
"Oh, that's cool."
Before I heard when I read Turkish Wolf, I was like, that sounds pretty cool as well, And then I read it, and I was like,
no.
I like the fact that it's more known for a wrestling thing. Like, if I was some reason around a bunch of extreme Turkish
militants,
Nazis,
yeah.
And just imagine one of them doing the symbol, just like a 38-year-old, a bit overweight in a big sexy shirt comes out. He's like, "Yeah, too sweet, man."
Yeah, just fucking go for it.
Phenomenal.
But
so yeah, there you go.
Nice that it's used over all different colours and creeds now, all over the world. So it sort of like extinguishes any power it had,
Yeah, it's been.
Always good.
I'm gonna make my my wrestling hand signal the Nazi salute, and
I don't think you can pull that one.
Yeah, that one's a bad plan. There is a story of JBL doing that to get heat in Germany.
Oh, it was amazing in Germany.
In Germany, where it is massively illegal, and JBL the bully absolutely cacking himself because he was didn't do his research.
It's one way to get go away heat, ain't it?
Yes. Right. So now we've discussed rampant capitalism and Turkish Nazis.
Our politics podcast.
Yeah. Should we move on to something a bit more fun and let's go to our reviews?
Let's do this.
And
Boom.
so
Good taking control, Morg.
We open up as always with BTE or Being the Elite. Mr. Muir, this is your wheelhouse.
So this starts with the fallout from the Super Elite coming out instead of the Elite. So it's the Bucks standing there and then the Super Elite come up to them. And my favourite comment of this was Gallows just coming out with the best comment. I was just passing through for the paycheck. That fucking made me piss.
King Carney.
So it just goes on. Kenny and the Good Brothers talk them down. And then Nick has to go. Come on, we have to go away. We have to go watch how many hours of dark.
He went, now we've got to go watch 6 hours of dark. Thank you for watching listening to our podcast, Nick. It means a lot to us. Please tell Shad to listen.
And then it moves on to them walking away and the Young Bucks just discussing if they actually planned this. And he's like, of course they planned this.
Obviously.
Which I really enjoyed. Then we move on to the Dark Order, which starts with Stu Grayson trying to order a chocolate-sized horse.
A living horse made of
chocolate. Yep, it was brilliant.
Don't dip the horse in the chocolate.
And then my favourite line of this segment was Uno coming out saying, let's get an inflatable castle. I had one for my 4th birthday. I don't remember it, but it looked cool.
I love the Dark Order. Why are we not bored of them yet?
Because they come out with new material every week instead of repeating the same joke. Alex Reynolds then coming out, because now they're all starting to build up a character, was discussing which type of mermaids he should get, Pacific or Atlantic mermaids, and he went for Atlantic mermaids because those ones that he understands best. So in law, Alex Reynolds understands and knows mermaids.
Has mermaids. He's ordered some mermaids.
Yes, mate. Then Five was going to order some cowboy boots made out of bacon, but he hates the bacon fan base, which I can understand.
True.
Yep.
True. Bacon is overhyped. It's the Roman Reigns.
Yeah, the Roman Reigns of food.
Be fair, it's the John Cena of food.
Then we had the moment of Silver just shouting Anna at Anna until she corpsed.
Yeah, she just didn't have. Yeah, it was her. I've got nothing. I've got nothing.
Yeah. And then Silver wants to get a big banner with some hot babes for the birthday present, which is what made me laugh. And then Hangman walks in, so they all tell him to fuck off when they're trying to plan their party for him, which made me laugh. Then we moved on to the random segment where it's just Ali walking past Brandon and they hate each other. Okay, whatever.
And to be fair, that was just silly. It was a nice segue segment. It was just silly.
Yep.
It was that thing you do where you walk past that person and then flick the V's at them behind the back, which just makes me think that Ali and Brandon get on really well.
Yeah, probably. I don't remember that bit, so I'm not going to comment.
This is why I take notes. Then we had the 7th Private Party and Matt Hardy bit, which everybody thinks that Matt Hardy is a money grabbing carny, but then he sort of talks sense into them, and then you see more lines of this heel turn by Private Party.
More on that later.
Which were in my notes beforehand.
Ooh.
Then we got to the Statlander build, where she decides that Griff was too big. And then Pillman's just in the background looking at his phone, obviously looking down, trying not to laugh at how stupid this segment is. And then she just looks at her and goes, "I'm going to abduct you." And then that's the last we see of him. Then we had Peter and Lever about winning. And since they'd left each other, and it's just a little awkward because they can't get back together, sort of thing. Talking together, not being able to work it out.
I loved the handshake hug. This was so sweet and done so cringily well that I didn't cringe properly. I just kind of door.
Sorry, I hate anything heartwarming on principle.
Then we
did you hate this?
I was alright.
Then we had Statlander holding up a sign that was making Paul Pillman say, "I am so fucking stupid."
Classic.
And then she's sick of him, so she just screams, "Get out of my lair," and kicks him out. Which
shit, wasn't it?
It was the bit where she's going, "I didn't even tie you up. You tied yourself up."
It's all bollocks, but I'm down with it. Then we had the Brandon and Luchasaurus bit, which I didn't really care for. Just them building up their feud about being dragons and dinosaurs and whatever.
I'd like to build a bit of hype on this, but I've got to review that match in a bit.
Yes, mate, you do. So good luck. God, then we moved on to the Lever and Kit bit for the 7th time. Yep, she let him win. I'm shocked. Then we had Silver and Reynolds playing beer cat pong because Brandon wanted to shoot tonight, so we couldn't go get actual balls for this match. So they're using plastic caps.
But our champion retains.
Our champion did retain.
What was Silver shit-faced at the end of this?
I think so.
Probably.
That one was filmed after the one from last week.
And it's 4 a.m. and they had been drinking through all the competitions, so,
Every single scene you see of Trent and Chucky T, they're always holding glasses of red wine. I think you'll notice none of the straight edge boys are ever in their little competitions other than Brandon who films.
Yeah, it's all just the drunk guys drinking and then doing their stupid contest afterwards, which is great. As long as they're not dangerous, but...
A beer pong? Oh, no.
Yeah, some beer? What a shame. Then we move on to the Bucks and Matt Hardy about their room. I liked that they signed the contracts that weren't even for the room, and then they start discussing if they're just dumb baby faces, which I really enjoyed. And then Nick just comes out with, because he always comes out with one good, sarcastic line. It just goes, "Okay, we're smart millionaires, we're fine. We're shoot millionaires, we'll be fine."
I love his meta, just dryness.
Yeah, I love his...
Something I like.
Matt's better generally, but Nick can come out with these brilliant one-liners. And I enjoyed this episode of BTE. I thought it was real good.
Yeah, it was a good laugh thinking back over it.
Yeah, it was a lot of laughs. I mean, we enjoyed it. Obviously, I watched this with Raptor, and we enjoyed this. At the end,
it's going back to a bit more of the old school of random skits and stuff. We went off that for a bit, and I think it's pulling it back.
Yeah. So moving, ranking B.
High C.
High C.
I see.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Didn't blow your minds, but it's good content we're used to.
Worth a watch. Now it's that time. You didn't get an hour and a half this week, did you, Mr. Strange?
no,
I've watched this as well.
So have I. Back to 2 hours, and it's time for our review of Dark, or as we call it now, Matt Strange rushes his way through Dark, and we just interject if it's something we want to comment on.
Slipped a bit last week because it was short and my notes were bigger. I've had to condense back down. So we open up with Luchasaurus versus Brandon Cutler, and they open with giving Dinosaur the mic. Don't give him the mic. His gimmick falls apart
His gimmick
when he
dies.
Especially when he's sort of going ooh and stuff in the match. And I know he's got a master's degree. It's cool. Get some other content. The only thing that really stood out in this match to me, it was solid enough, fine. I just wasn't hugely invested. It was all right. But there was a spot where Luchasaurus tried to do his over the ropes hair grab on Brandon, and Brandon's got no hair and his fingers just slipped off, and that was good. Otherwise, it was all right.
Yeah.
Quick comment on that. I believe this puts Peter Avalon and Brandon back on the same win-loss now.
Oh, that's a good observation, actually.
Yeah, so if Brandon keeps winning and Peter keeps winning, I believe that puts them on the same win-loss now.
Oh, that's good. That's something at least. Maybe that will go
Oh,
somewhere.
no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. More on that later. Oh, yeah, good point. Right, Sammy versus Australiano. And I just hate his name. I'm sorry. Why is he Australiano? Anyway, Australiano's just got Lucha 101.
Yes, right.
And he seems to have put a 90-degree turn on all of his moves. And it looked good on like the one flip thing he did, but then he did like a moonsault to the side and another move to the side. That was bugging me a little bit. Solid, but it all felt a bit choreographed to me. This was just like a match of high spot moves. I'd say it's skippable unless you want to watch people just sort of, flip about an awful lot. Average high school student Nick Comoroto versus Scorpio Sky. Obviously a build-up. Obviously a build-up to Comoroto versus Mox. More on that later. It was solid. Like, it didn't do anything amazing, but they showed Comoroto to be a bit of a beast. Scorpio Sky's just wrestler +1. Fine. Daniels versus... Oh, God, who's that? Shanna. My ends are...
Yeah.
I'm very good. This was actually solid and quite good. I quite enjoyed this. I'm quite liking Daniels' sort of buff brawler gimmick. It's not one you see on women often. Shanna did the spirit bomb hand action, and Ricky knows it, which pleased me.
Mate. It was solid this match.
It was actually a really solid women's match. This is.
Yeah.
That was a good. It's all right as well.
Yeah.
It was
an all right match. This I enjoyed. I could
watch more matches like this on Dynamite. How's the same? We have men's filler matches.
Yes, mate.
Next up is a pretty good match actually. Butcher and the Blade versus Werner and Baron Black. The Butcher and Baron Black exchange at the second one was great. Like Baron Black just sort of speeding around him and him not being able to hit him until he did.
And then he's dead,
Yeah. Good heel shenanigans. Ali needs to maybe drop that laugh a little bit. That's going to get a bit annoying. If she's laughing like Naga the Serpent from anime, which I can't remember the name of. But Butcher and the Blade always put the people they're fighting over, even if they're losing. The Butcher gets his +1 for doing his amazingly hilarious crossbody. Pretty good match.
It makes me laugh every time.
Throwing a table at someone. Then another one you should watch. It's got my little watch notice over this. It's Gun Club versus Rising, Priest, and Morales. I love the Bullet Club, and everything in this match was actually really good. Cool. The Gun Club, not Bullet Club. It's because we've talked about them so much.
Our Gun Club becoming our new Dark Jurassic Express, when Jurassic Express used to be the one team we could trust to have a solid match every Dark.
Yeah, they are. But they've got so much more ring persona.
All different characters, yeah.
Yeah, and Colton's upped his weirdness to match his dad and brother in this match.
He's got to, hasn't he? Really?
Yeah, he was a bit too clean cut before. He's had some things in. Billy fucking about with them and then having a back and forth was Rising was fun. I really, really like Austin's high-speed combat style. Like, he's not flippy. Like, he'll speed past and slide down and take out a foot or do something. You know, he's not a high spots flippy guy. He's just
but he's fast.
Yeah.
I'm really starting to like. Even I mean, I liked him before. We know he's got so much personality and charisma. And he's obviously the most trusted wrestler because if you watch, everybody gives their stuff to him to look after. Heels, faces, doesn't matter. It's always like, Austin, look after this. For like, he's wearing.
He's just the best at looking after stuff, and he just wears it. It's hilarious.
Well, I noticed in the there's a Sammy match when he's got a phone out and he's obviously doing Sammy's vlog for him, and it's always Austin and Billy who look after Sammy's phone during the vlog.
Sheeter's coat for one of them.
And yes, that was the one. Yes.
If you'd have said to me 20 years ago that one day Billy Gunn and his kids will be your favorite wrestlers, some of your favorite wrestlers, I wouldn't have believed you. Not that I had anything against Billy Gunn as Mr. Ass, but you know, he wasn't exactly.
It's exactly what I said originally, and yeah, this run is probably, I think, Billy Gunn's best run.
Yes, man, he's getting his 2 kids over. It's like the perfect dad run.
I am looking forward to the trios belt competition between Gun Club and Death Triangle in the final. And well, actually, it'll be the comeback for them trying to win the titles off Death Triangle because obviously the heels win it first. But finally a face I can get behind, Austin.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, this is slowing down.
What? Not Death Triangle. New faces.
Don't do it, Morg. Don't do it.
The tweeners at best.
Cruz and Limelight versus Proud and the Powerful. I got excited that John Cruz was there, and then it just sort of ended.
Yeah, man.
Skip it. Everybody's very good. Avalon coming out to just do Avalon things for the walk-off. With he needs 3 pretty judges for his walk-off with Lee Johnson. This is fabulous, and this is a great pace break. I enjoyed it.
Sort of shit that we need on Dark.
Then we rolled into Johnson and Solo versus Private Hardy. It was showing more of the things of Matt Hardy telling them what to do in the ring. Pretty good match, but that Matt Hardy stopping them all the time made it feel a bit clumsy in some places, if you ask me. Swole and Gracia had a match.
They did. Move on.
Yeah.
Clayton and Sonny had a match.
They did. Keep moving.
Navarro and Kirsch versus Top Flight. Yeah, that's the right notes. Navarro in this match did the cleanest drop kick dodge I've ever seen. It was, which I don't know the Top Flight guy's names yet. He was like millimeters off his face. It was
beautiful. Yeah.
It wasn't one-sided match. Good bit of back and forth. +1 for a Spanish fly, as always. It was good. Nobody moonsaulted onto their own head.
This is where Top Flight should be at the moment. Yeah, winning dark matches.
Tesha Price and Perez versus the Latinas.
Yeah.
Solid enough. I quite like Perez. Not bad, if I'm honest.
Yeah, this was good, yeah.
Yeah. Diamante grows on me more and more.
And we've got to say, it's Evie that cares again. It might be because she's winning, but...
Yeah, it could be.
There used to be a thing with Sasha Banks where you could tell if she wasn't winning because she'd look at her face like thunder when she was on her way to the ring. And I think Evie suffers from the same thing.
It's a fake. Yeah. It's a fake fight.
It's a worked fight, Muir.
Worked.
Yeah. Whatever.
Then obviously we're going to move into a match I have a couple more notes on. Shawn Dean and Fuego versus the Acclaimed.
Yes,
Acclaimed now just do about WWE references in their raps, and I'm down with it. He said you can't see me. He made a Big Show reference. Brilliant. The build to Fuego's Tornado DDT is the new Avalon versus Cutler, if you ask me. I am so invested about when he'll hit that move. In every match, he lands around their head and puts his arm up to go for it, and something terrible happen. I'm actually quite enjoying the small mini feud between Dean and Caster as well. Caster shit talks the captain on the way down to the ring, and then the captain gets to batter him. That seems to happen in every match.
Yeah.
It was a good balanced match, worth a watch. And that's... Oh, no, sorry.
There's one more, isn't there?
There is one more. I'm turning pages on my book and I missed it. Lucha Brothers versus the Chaos Project. Seems a bit unfair, if you ask me.
It's a one-sided fight, ain't
it? John Cruz does get his second match, which is good. Serpentico against Phoenix was actually really good. They had a lot of... But everything Phoenix does is really good. I quite like the fact that now in their story, Serpentico is trying to stop Luther using him as a weapon, and Luther...
I love how Serpentico is just the lowest tier of all the characters. He's just got the lowest power rating, and I love him for it. I used to really dislike Serpentico, and I really enjoy his character.
Yeah.
He's a comedy wrestler, and as I said, I want to love anything like Taz loves comedy wrestling. Like, I think if Taz had known about comedy wrestling in the ECW days, we wouldn't have Taz.
No, we wouldn't. He'd be some job at doing comedy wrestling.
Pulling down people's pants and hitting them with cactuses and stuff.
Yeah, mate.
Yeah, to be fair, the comedy wrestler on ECW was Mikey Whipwreck. That was their level of comedy.
Yeah.
I have no idea who that is because it's I didn't have Sky.
He was Mikey Whipwreck was the guy who won the tag team championships with Cactus Jack, and these Cactus Jacks all they beat Public Enemy, and he's like, "We've won, Mikey, we won." And Mikey's going, "We're gonna die, they're gonna kill us." And he was just this kid who kept losing, and really quite a good wrestler.
Amazing. Anyway, Lucha Bros versus Chaos Project, I would say, was quite an entertaining just display of moves. It was like a demo reel, but a relatively well-paced spot monkey little fest. So yeah, that was dark. It was all right. I think if you'd have cut out a lot of the unnecessary chaff that's just there to give people wins,
yes, mate,
it'd be really good. But as I said last week I was really into it because it was more concise. So yeah, solid dark. If you're gonna watch anything, watch probably the Gun Club match.
Didn't sell over the 310 to Yuma enough for me. I really enjoy that finisher.
Oh, it's a really cool finisher. I forgot the other got.
I'd say the Gun Club. I'd say the two women's matches. They weren't stellar, but
they
were serviceable.
Match was a lot better.
Yes.
Yeah, like I've got the ones I would shit talk were kept short.
Yes,
mate. Like if ones that are actually matches I'd suggest. I think were good. Daniels and Shanna, Butcher and Blade versus Baron.
There's an hour show there though, isn't there? If they just cut it down.
Yeah.
Dean and the Acclaimed. Yeah, there just needs trimming, and I appreciate everybody's got to get work and stuff. But come on, guys, you've taken it from what could have been a B down to like a mid-low C.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
I agree with the C.
Yeah.
So
on the bright side, they do now. One sec, they do have times on their videos now, so you can skip all of the breaks and adverts and get it down to about an hour and a half.
Yes, if you watch it after listening to this show, you can even skip the matches you don't want to watch. There's usually if they haven't put it in, there is usually a helpful fan somewhere in the comments who has put all the timestamps.
Yeah.
So 2 C's. Let's see how it goes. It's time for the main show of the week. It's time to review Dynamite, which opens, I'm going to say as always, because I always do this, and it's always JR, Excalibur, and Schiavone on commentary. Occasionally we get Jericho. Opens up with a Dark Order promo. Any comments, thoughts on it?
Like the Chaos Project hate kids. That's good for me. I like that.
Them the anti-pedos. They're the opposite. It was like somebody's going into that cake. It's wrestling.
Obviously, yeah.
There's nothing else on the table. And bless John Silver time. He's such a fucking dork. Brilliant.
As long as we don't get any more -1 for a while, I'll be happy. I just don't. Nothing against the kid. I just feel like they're using him a bit too much at the moment.
Oh, we let them off this one because it's his birthday.
Exactly.
Like 3 weeks after his dad died. You can do whatever you want.
If you're gonna use him again, I want to see him on BTE. If you're gonna use him, use him on BTE to throw bits of paper at Silver.
I'm down with that, but I just don't want to. No offense to him, I just think it could get a bit exploitative if he comes out anymore. That's all.
So moving on, Silver and Colt, Reynolds, and Hangman versus TH2 and Chaos Project. Dark Order win with a 3-person combination, which was awesome. Then there was lots of silliness for -1. We will leave what happens next. What did you guys think of the match, and what score did you give the match?
This was actually a really fun match. A little bit clusterfucky, don't get me wrong.
It was very clusterfucky.
Jack Evans loves taking bumps, and I just fucking loves it. When Luther started using Jack when he wasn't expecting it, I thought that was great.
It was brilliant.
I said a little bit of a clusterfuck start, but it was a solid once everybody got into it. Page's hot tag was immense. He is becoming phenomenal. There was a great moment for Serpentico where he dodged all the Beavers combos and then walked straight into the Hangman Colt combo.
Yes,
that was great. Still a little bit confusing, as I said at time, but
it's an 8-man tag.
The Hangman Beaver Boys back slam thing went wrong and didn't quite work, but you could see them laughing and nobody cared, and that was endearing as well.
Silly, they don't give a fuck. Yeah,
it's wholesome in a way. Yes. On the actual immense things, my 2 notices on just fucking wicked was Jack Evans doing a 450 springboard off the top rope.
Yeah,
just suddenly, I can do that. And the Beaver Boys Hangman triple team combo.
Buckshot into suplex into a jackknife pin. It's fucking ace, mate.
Fucking great.
That was so nice.
So smooth.
I gave it a B. It was solid. It was funny. It was just a little bit too all over the place at the bit.
It had soul. That's what it had.
Yeah, it was a fucking soulful wrestling match.
Yeah.
I think I like it more than I've ranked it, is probably the best way to put it.
Mr. Muir, thoughts and your ranking?
I really, as a wrestling match, it was a bit all over the place, a bit silly. But for my enjoyment, because I can enjoy, indie shitters fucking around, I gave it a good B because I really enjoyed it. All the spots I enjoyed were, especially the finish, that was great. And then the cake got destroyed, which I needed. I needed the cake to be destroyed. I wouldn't have been happy. So,
So B+1 because of the cake. I also gave it a B. We really enjoyed this match. It was really good fun. Yeah. And it was a hot. So, yeah, lots of silliness for -1. Then Adam Page turns heel.
We didn't turn heel.
No. They did it very well. Adam Page turns down joining the Dark Order. This was absolutely hilarious with all the people coming out and
cowboy hats on.
And cowboy hats and Uno and Grayson trying to chuck them back. Right. And he said yes.
On the
logo.
Big
what did you guys think about this for storyline, etc.?
Weirdly, what I'd call classic British comedy.
Yes, mate.
The build-up, and then the heartbreak, and then the celebration. Yeah, and balloons coming down, and it was so extreme. Wrestlers trying to come on and being pushed away. A really good storytelling because Hangman looked, actually sad, and everybody was really confused. I fucking loved it. In fact, I haven't ranked it, but I'm going to give it an A. I laughed. I felt sad. I was moved. Somebody went through a cake. I really hope I want the Beaver Boys to hunt down the Elite and start beating them up because of how much they've hurt Hangman.
Why did you hurt him so much? He's such a good person.
I didn't rank it. I'm giving it an A. There it goes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'm with that. That was really good.
It's great storytelling. It just builds up the Hangman as this hurt person that needs to be built up because he's been, used and abused by people before. It's just perfect.
Moving on. MJF and Jericho promo. I just have written here, it's MJF and Jericho.
It was solid. I'm really enjoying the Machiavellian MJF, seeing how he says and does things. And as I said last week, so as somebody who reads books on social engineering and keeps all these fucking ancient texts on statecraft, it's actually really subtle and really clever. More so than I think people will give it credit for because it's a wrestler on TV.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, that's really good. Do we rank now? We normally just go. It's these are our 4 wrestlers that just always get a B, and I don't think we ever give them their ranking to pull the show up. Do we going to give it its B on the official rankings?
I've put an A in for that last section, so I don't know. I don't know if I'm not going to rank it because it's good, and if I rank it, I'm going to have to rank the section afterwards, and I'm going to be mad about the section afterwards.
And that will take down the entire show.
So moving on, Sting and Darby Allin segment. I'm guessing you guys were not a fan of this.
I've got a positive comment. Sting was wearing a Brody shirt, which I quite liked. That's all my positivity for this.
The void stared back at me.
Yeah.
Well, my first note taking the piss was, "Oh fuck, it's Stang and his son," followed by, "Oh cool, it's Taz." I just don't care anymore. Look, how many times it's meant to be the face who is beaten by the heel over and over and over again until he can overcome him. So now I get a cinematic match with Sting, which I'm sure will be lovely and will be like their take on the Boneyard match. They're gonna lose again.
Yep. I have 2 comments about this. When they were talking about Street Fighters, Kenny Omega should have looked around the corner and just been out there going, "Oh, Street Fighter." Because he's a huge Street Fighter fan. And
yeah, he should have been in his Akuma kit.
Yep. And the other thing is, this match should be like Beach Break, where Sting comes out as Surfer Sting, and he brings Darby into his happy outfit. Which
Surfer Darby! Oh,
Surfer Darby! Where he has a smiley face instead of a skull, because he's happy because his dad's taking him for a day out at the beach. That's what this match should be.
Do it. Go on, Sting fan.
Well, it's only because it's the Crow. It was all right. It was. It moved on a story that needs to be done. I would have been much happier had it been Sting and Darby, even had it been Sting going, "Well, I was the face of TNA," and leaving it at that, congratulating him, and then going, "But I used to be the face of TNA," and kind of leaving it with that, "Oh, are they gonna?" Or even just them doing we've got an alliance. You could have had one final runoff of Team Taz, just with them having and it being solidified that it was an alliance. I'm happy with the idea of Sting for Darby's mentor, but can we just move on from Team Taz? Just get over it. You can't beat these baby faces. Go and attack the Bucks or Cody.
You've been saying that for about a month now.
For God's sake.
Also, what I was reading online, when Sting was 37, he was able to beat up around 10 NWO people on his own. So now he's 61. It's probably fair that Team Taz still runs away from him if he can beat up that many people on his own. Then.
That's legit.
So bored. I'm just so bored of it.
So
tiring.
So yes, next we had, I've got it down as an elite video segment, but it was actually the Bucks and Don Callis.
Mm-hmm.
What did you guys think of this, and did you give it a rank?
Fucking painting.
Mate, the painting was S tier.
Was S.
The painting is beautiful. This lovely piece of Renaissance-style art of obviously Kenny and Ibushi standing next to each other with Don Callis' face just painted over Ibushi. It's beautiful.
I actually didn't mind this. It was very wrestling. I enjoy Shitlord Kenny not being there, though apparently actually didn't know later. Solid, probably could have been shortened, but solid. Sadly, Don Callis's Machiavellian powers just can't rival MJF's currently.
No, he's too out there. He's not like hidden doing it sort of thing,
Yeah, it's like the difference between actual Sherlock Holmes novels and the Sherlock BBC TV series. One of them has a man solving investigations and you go along with it and see how smart he is and explains it. And the other one is, he's so smart, he's found the answer. And Don Callis is like, here is his manipulation, and he calls himself the Invisible Hand, whereas MJF is just like, meh, sliding. I did like fingers together, baddie hands gesture. You can't tell because this is a podcast, but I did. So yeah, no, I'm solid and good, but it's paling in comparison to MJF's fucking mastery.
I should have,
I thought the
Give it a
segment
C.
was okay. Yeah, it was probably a C. It went on a bit too long. I think later on the payoff might push it up. We'll discuss that later when we get to that
We'll
bit.
discuss that later.
Yeah. Next up, Peter Avalon versus Cody Rhodes. Jade Cargill distraction. Cody eventually wins with the figure 4. What did you guys think of the match, and what score did you give it?
With my superior speed, I'm sure to win.
Sorry.
This match could have had some build.
This match could have not happened.
And once again, I just don't. Why is Cody so put up by Jade Cargill walking out?
He's there.
I mean, we had to cheat to have a match breakout, but I didn't expect a lot. Avalon did a lot of limb work, which I often, approve of, especially on a big man. And Cody is big for Avalon.
Yeah.
Nothing special though. It wasn't that smooth. The pacing was a bit weird. It was either a leapfrog fail or Cody was overselling his leg, but from how he climbed the turnbuckle at the end, I think his knee might have been hurt. Then we had a figure 4, just roll it over, Avalon. Just let it roll over. Lame finish?
I don't know, Pretty Peter Avalon protecting his face from a slap was kind of
that
funny.
was great.
Yeah.
But I gave it a D because I think this only made both characters look worse coming out of this. Avalon got beat, so he obviously looks worse because of it. And Cody looks like a fucking geek for taking this long to defeat Pretty Peter Avalon.
Now, this is
D from
interesting.
me.
Okay, this is interesting. So I'll give my result. So me and the Raptor, we really liked the story in this, with the distraction meaning that Cody couldn't get the win in a minute, but had proved at the beginning that he could. Then all of Peter's limb work and shortcutting, he did turn the figure 4 over, but then losing to the about to have the slap in the face to Pretty Peter Avalon, I thought was a nice comedy out for his character. So I gave this, it was a low, I gave it a B/C. I gave it a low B because of the storytelling in it. So it's going to be up to Mr. Strange now.
It's definitely not a B. I'm giving you that. As much as I can see some of your story points and such, there was just no build for it. If Peter had called out Cody for being pretty, and then Cody had gone, "I'll beat you in a minute," and we'd known everything, as opposed to Excalibur going, "Oh yeah, he'll beat him in a minute," and then he could have, and then I'm just going to be fair and go down the middle and give it a C. I'm just going to give it a C. It's a low C for me. You've got a low B, and Nick's got a solid D, so it's a C.
Yep.
That's fair.
Because
that's science.
Oh, rare. That is my letter maths that I do every week.
So, following on from that, FTR promo video. Any thoughts?
Jungle Boy's getting promo time, and FTR's promo time back. I actually enjoyed. I quite enjoyed the angry, shouty back guys in bar for the first sort of time. Solid, and it's some direction for FTR. I enjoyed it. Brand new news. I enjoy an FTR.
Yeah, I don't think I can add anything else to that, Mr. Muir.
He's dead now.
He's dead. It's because we didn't give him his D.
Why, has my mic stopped working?
Yeah, no, we can hear you.
We didn't hear you say anything about this FTR Jungle Boy promo.
Oh, okay. It was solid enough. You know, it's good build for them and makes them actually have some sort of direction, which is all you want, really.
Sorry about that, audience. Muir had to reboot for a moment.
Following on from that, Mox versus Nick Comoroto. Mox wins with the Bulldog Choke, or a variation on the Bulldog Choke. Guys, think of the match. What score did you give it?
All right, I'm going to have to explain something here.
All my notes are a mess for this because it's named incorrectly.
During this show, during this match, this was the first time Ruth saw Nick Comoroto, who I've been going on about for a while.
Can you use his correct name, please?
Big Dick Nick.
Thank you.
So I have a lot of different terms for Nick Comoroto now. I think my favourite one we got was, if you put John Silver's arms on Layla Hirsch's legs, you get Nick Comoroto. And just calling him average 17-year-old schoolboy Nick Comoroto because he looks like average anime character. Just because at the end, I think JR called him a young upstart. And I was like, he looks like he's come down from the Appalachians after a life of raising bears.
He looks like he was frozen from a caveman and then came out to wrestle.
Either way, I love Nick Comoroto, and when they said he had a 600-pound bench, I had to convert that into metrics. That's 272 kilos.
Jesus Christ.
Fucking insane.
Yes.
Anyway, back on to the match. It was slow and solid, to be completely honest. I'm glad it wasn't a squash. They gave Comoroto his full fucking demo reel, and he just got to do, a bunch of moves on Mox. I'm not always the biggest Mox fan. But Mox fucking took it and made him look like a badass.
He did.
And Mox had to use his super choke that he's only used on, I want to say, Lance and
Eddie.
Yeah.
Brody?
Yeah, the big guys.
So he probably fucking put him over in his own little way.
Properly. It was great.
Mate, I can't say it was a particularly great match, but I'd give it a C out of just solidness and making everybody look all right.
What squash match should be.
Yeah, exactly that. Nick Comoroto looks like a man who rips people's arms off, in one pull. So, solid C. Like, I wasn't expecting a lot. Maybe that's why I think a bit more of it. But I think that was a fine big man versus Moxley match.
I thought it was. I thought it was the Mox you liked. I thought it was an in-ring version of Cowboy Mox, the old cowboy. Had to just pull something out the last minute. I enjoyed it. It was a C, solid C.
It didn't feel like he could win without using his power move. He was getting his ass kicked, and then he pulled out his special move, sort of thing. Which
because
is great.
Primark has burst out of the ground and gone to AEW.
Yes, mate.
So, following on from that, we had a Mox in-ring promo. Solid Moxing. Any thoughts?
He loves hurting people. That's always a plus for a wrestler.
No, he didn't feel quite as snappy and cool as usual. Like, I can't put it down, but I don't know, I felt well. He did say all roads lead through him, so I just, one of my notes is just stares in Ibushi. But then we go, solid Moxing. Stuff.
And then following on from that, an Eddie Kingston backstage promo. Again,
Butcher looked great.
I've got solid Eddie.
Solid Eddie. I was a little bit sad Lance didn't beat anybody up.
No. What kind of Lance promo is this?
I even wrote down Lance destroy, and then he didn't destroy anybody. I enjoyed this, and I was talking about this with Ruth. I'm really enjoying the fact it looks like Jake has somewhere he can be happy.
Yes.
Like,
He's actually found wrestlers that aren't monsters.
Yeah, because he got to make a little shit talky comment at the end in like a snark, in like a fun way. He's been on BTE, I think, for the first time in his story of misery, depression, abuse, and everything. I think Jake's actually happy, and that makes me feel good. Yeah.
I think a lot of that credit goes to DDP, but yes,
of course it does. But
I enjoyed this. I thought it was good. Nice setup. We're getting the payoff. We're going to have Lance playing the protagonist against Eddie's shitlord. I think it's going to be great. This could be a really good match as well.
I'll go full Japan.
Yeah, if they go full on beating the living piss out of each other, I think I will be quite happy with this match. Following on from that, Kenny Omega backstage segment. Now, does this pull the other one up with the payoff?
Why did they beat a Penta?
No, this isn't beating up the Penta. This is the. I want to talk about. No. I want to talk about Kenny Omega's shirt. I want to own that shirt.
My first comment is wonderful shirt. I shit you not.
That shirt is beautiful. It's my favorite color. Yeah.
This was better. Even if they did film it, I assume he kept the camera after the filming. Yeah. Solid storytelling, a good continuation of the previous one. Gets more confusing later when the response doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I'm very angry that the Bucks kicked you. I'm going to hunt down a Mexican. No, Kenny.
What? Don't do that.
Okay, I'm Japanese.
So next we had Top Flight and Matt Sydal versus Matt Hardy and Private Party. Private Party win with the Shooting Star Press. Thoughts on the match and what score did you give it?
Oh, this is going to be a big one. I'm going to open with my first observation is, what happened to Private Party's Dorman? Kind of miss him.
I told you. Dead from a cocaine overdose. He's gone.
I'm confused at the fact Matt Hardy's new corporate sort of thing I thought he was building into is just Big Money Matt. I thought that's a weird move.
Yeah, even on the Titantron.
It's iconic Big Money Matt.
Oh, that makes a huge difference. So if I call myself iconic Stone Cold Steve Austin, he wouldn't be annoyed with me.
Matt Hardy changes gimmicks more times than Big Show face and heels turns. I'm just saying.
Yes, mate.
Okay, so this match is a bit of an experience. We had a solid showy start, and we had some cool stuff from Top Flight and Matt Sydal. Their triple leapfrog into the lariat thing was actually really fucking cool. Until Top Flight Man moonsaulted onto his own head straight afterwards.
Right.
Matt, let's go with the bad. There were a lot of little botches and slips in this match from Top Flight, and it's apparent they're training with Sydal, and great, but they're very young, and there were just a few fucking things that went down over here. And then Matt Sydal got beaten up in the ring for like 20 minutes or something. And it was a smooth beating on Matt Sydal, arguably is the safest one, and one of them had just moonsaulted onto their own head.
Yeah.
But it was a long one. The Top Flight hot tag after that was actually really cool. They sort of failed to knock Matt Hardy out the ring. On the good side, we got some good fucking story from the actual showing of the heel turning for Private Party. Their arc is concluded into Matt Hardy's, sort of corporate evil tag teams. Yeah. Cool. Fucking loads of potential in Top Flight and Sydal as trios. When they did that roll back through into the crab thing on both of them, that was
so smooth compared to like a lot of botches in this match, but that was perfect. If they could just get the rest of the routine a bit smoother, it would be fantastic. Yeah.
And I think we're suffering from the thing. AEW did it with Private Party at the stop. They were like, they're super young. And we were like, oh, they're really good. And then they just had the same match over and over. And we got annoyed. Don't push these guys too quickly. We can see they're great. And the match overall was all right. Like, as much as it was botchy in places, and that's brought it down, I'm still going to give it a C. I don't think it overstepped that boundary for me. Just because of the long beating on Matt Sydal and some of the clips and falls and things. But the potential in Top Flight is phenomenal, and I'm actually excited to see where Matt Hardy and Private Party are going now.
I think it's good that they're going to Impact for a while. By the sounds of it, they're going to they're going to challenge the Good Brothers for the belt.
Ah, cool, good.
Should have mentioned that in the news, actually.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, I've only just remembered it.
News.
Private Party turned up on Impact with Matt Hardy just after Chris Sabin had come out and gone, well, I have got a tag team partner, and brought out the Cowboy James Storm, which was actually cool as fuck. I watched the whole segment on YouTube. Sorry, Mr. Muir, you were doing yours, what you thought of it and what score you were giving it.
I had a lot of issues with this match. This match was very much my mate and myself playing a computer game where we play the same team and just change the different color scheme, It was very indie flippy, and I think it was a bit too much to expect these two very young teams to be able to pull this match off together. But there's so much potential in this ring. Like, I don't want to be doom and gloom. I think it was still a solid C, but yeah.
I really enjoyed this. This was flippy. This was flippy shit. I like flippy shit.
I like flippy shit, but when they keep falling on their faces,
I've watched Sasha Banks. I've watched
my stardom account. I've watched Sasha. Do this well.
I've watched Sasha Banks regularly, so I'm used to people just half killing themselves. I gave it a B, not a high B. It is a low B. I gave it a B, but also I think one of the things that pushed it up was that bit, and it was props to, I can't remember which commentator said it. It was the selling of the hitting him with the chair and the smile. afterwards. This originally we thought that it was going to be a case of they were going to be
Odds.
not wanting to be heels, but having to be.
They're making too much money.
Reluctant heels, and now I like this switch, and I think I've stolen this off the Raptor, which was that this is a slightly different viewpoint of the. Well, actually, we've got but we get wins if we do this, and I think there's some legs in Private Party as a heel team, actually.
Oh, I'm with you.
Yeah.
The story work was great. It's just
so I think that's what pushed it. So I will change my ranking from a low B to a high C.
I think that's fair. Well, we're going to be in the C categories. As I said, the match had just loads and loads of cool potential and loads of good fucking things, and then there's like a really bad front flip hurricanrana in the middle of it and such like. Great potential match. I'm with you on the C.
Flippy guys that you live and die on bosches. Unfortunately, it's one of those things. Matt Seidel's, introduction to AEW.
Yeah, but that was only one. This match had like 12.
Yeah.
But that's it. Still a C.
Moving on from that, Inner Circle backstage promo. Thoughts?
That was just more MJF manipulation, wasn't it?
Yeah, this was him going to the guys and go, look, Chris wants to do this. I'm not down with it.
Yeah, no, really good story working, showing the good MJF.
I think you're missing the most important thing of this was Sammy rubbing his hand on Hager's knee to make him corpse during this start.
Yes.
Fucking hilarious.
Really fucking
yes,
champ.
Mate. I liked the bit where he's like building up and then he just goes, we ain't there yet, when he's going to go hug Sammy and stuff like that. I thought that was really good. Fantastic manipulation by MJF again.
Good storytelling.
Yes, mate.
I'll give the overall MJF versus Inner Circle for all of the moments on this show a B. That seems fair.
Yeah, that seems fair. So moving on to our 10 minutes of women's match. Layla Hirsch versus Penelope Ford with Kip Miro and Charles Taylor. Penelope wins by shenanigans. What did you guys think of the match, and what score did you give the match? We'll move on to the other bit afterwards.
Right. You're going to go first on this one.
God, find someone that will bury you as much as JR when you die. Fucking hell. He just kept burying Layla. Just go, oh, she's only this height. Oh, she's only this. It's like, mate, she's Joshi size. Just shut up and enjoy the match, please.
I didn't even notice that. I wasn't paying attention to JR.
No, that's the best way to be whenever it's a women's match. She's freaking awful these days. I don't understand why they're trying to make Hirsch sympathetic when I loved when she first just came out and just gave everyone the finger, which is like, yeah, I'm great. I love that character. I don't know why they're trying to turn her sympathetic. But yeah, it was an okay match. Seeing as they had very little time to plan it, not going to disparage it too much.
They have little time to plan it?
Yeah, this was meant to be Nyla Rose, mate. It was meant to be Layla Hirsch versus Nyla, but
that would explain the clumsiness.
Yes,
right. Mate. Okay, good. I was just upset this was going to be a squash for plot. And,
yes, mate.
I don't know if they made Layla sympathetic. They did at least, make it so she lost to shenanigans.
Yes, true.
I have been going on about how much I love Hirsch for some time. She's got fucking phenomenal takedowns. She had a great comeback. Her Escalera moonsault thing was really cool. But it's better when it's into the ring than out, if you ask me. Isn't that torture rack knee drop thing Penelope's finisher? Anyone?
No, it's the fisherman suplex is her finisher.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know why she's picked up the torture rack knee drop, because that's Utami's finisher.
She's been using that for a while.
Yeah,
she has. It's been in there it's been in her repertoire for a while.
I'm trying to remember it. Yeah. Fair.
Yeah, I'm glad that Chuck has to. I'm not glad. It's good that Chuck will cheat because he's told to, because he's a young boy now. And the Chuck bits are good. I think Layla actually missed her putting her foot on the rope spot, and I think Kip grabbed her foot like it was on the rope, like he was throwing it off at the end, because I missed that sort of moment. Commentary was saying something about it, and they seemed confused, which is, if I'm right, really, really good wrestling, like community work from Kip. Yeah, I didn't even rank it. Like, I don't think the match was that smooth, and like it had some good rushes and good moments. I don't know. I'm undecided.
I just gave it a C. I thought it was a match.
Yeah.
It was not. It did not live up to last week's women's match. It was just a match, but it wasn't terrible.
I think you could have been better putting either of the dark women's matches on over this. As soon as you found out that Nyla was not going to be able to make it, just change up the story a bit.
Yeah.
But that's me.
Yeah.
Then we moved on to the mirror bit.
Yeah, and then it was. Yeah, so then it was Miro and Charles Taylor in ring promo, where Charles is told he has to tell Orange Cassidy that he's Miro's best friend now. Thoughts?
Liked Miro.
Go on, Muir. You're in.
I liked Miro burying Chuck, and it's like he's quite, an accomplished wrestler, Miro.
It's heel work.
I know.
Admittedly, we do prefer the Jericho heel work of, I hate how good he is, but here we are.
Yes, mate.
Chuck is best when he's miserable. Anybody who's watched some of his other stuff will know that miserable Chuck, that's just what he is. He is stereotypical depressed dry man, and that's what makes his role. 2 ways this can go. 1, correct way. Obviously, Orange Cassidy knows that Chuck is under duress, and he's not really his best friend now, and this will obviously come through for the ruining of the wedding with Chuck's grand scheme. Or
Orange Cassidy jumps out of a cake.
Or the wrestling way, where there's now like stress and anger between the best friends because Chuck said he was Miro is his best friend now. That will piss me off because it's obviously shit. If there's if a giant man was like grabbing Nick by the throat, it was like choking him out, and he was like, "Tell him you're not." Grabbing me by the throat. It was like, "Tell him he's not your friend." I'd be like, "He's not my friend," and I think Nick would go, "Well, he is being choked."
Yes, mate.
I'll accept this.
I'm hoping that you're right, and that we had a little bit of a lead into this from the Bucks in BTE. Are we just dumb faces now? Because AEW doesn't have very many dumb faces. One of the things we've all said we like about Mox is not a dumb face.
Dumb faces.
Yeah, I hate dumb faces. I hate heels should be dumb. It should be heels that eventually.
Some heels.
But it should be heels that get outwitted.
Yes, completely.
Yeah. Make it too dominant, basically.
Yeah.
So, ready to discuss the Good Brothers and Kenny beating down a Mexican because the Young Bucks.
Get him, boys!
Comms guys.
So we go to Good Brothers and Kenny beating down on Penta. I'm guessing Penta must be injured or something?
He is injured. He is out injured.
But so what? We need to keep him out. So have him beaten up again. Why? Just keep him out.
I don't know the story because I'm guessing because it was meant to be Death Triangle versus them, so they needed a way to segue.
I think it was supposed to be Mox. I think it was supposed to be Mox and the Lucha Brothers versus. But
no, it was meant to be Death Triangle, and now Mox has been substituted in for.
Well, Mox was in because of it's Kenny, and because he's chasing Kenny at the minute. I thought it was going to be the continuation from last week, where it was the Lucha Brothers who came to do the save for Mox. Penta's out with a minor injury, and therefore they've had to find a way to sub Pac in, as opposed to having Pac in his story with Lance. That's how I read this, but I could be wrong. You could be right.
Yeah, they had to sub someone else, but for some reason it was random people beating up Penta.
Yeah,
Penta did jump them last week to come and save Mox.
did, but we've had 3 Kenny-themed segments in this, and it goes, but the Bucks have gone to Kenny's house, but Kenny's not there, so Don can manipulate them into beating them up. Section 2. Don subtly tells Kenny that he was beaten up by the Bucks, and Kenny is mad. Section 3. Kenny beats up a Mexican.
Yes. He's angry.
Yeah.
This might have worked better had it just been the Good Brothers.
Or explained. Yeah, if it was just the Good Brothers, or it had been explained a little bit more, but instead I was just like, why are they beating up Penta?
If
God, those shoes are awful.
Kenny was walking down fuming and like, you know,
if he was
just got in his way,
Yeah.
got angry at him, you know, then I could understand it.
Yeah.
But no, it's just a random beatdown.
I can't say it was bad. It was
think-
just weird.
I think we need to criticise here the commentary team for not
Giving it something.
not giving it the story. Whichever one of the 3 thoughts that we've just given, the commentary team didn't do. You know, Excalibur is usually on the ball with this kind of thing during the this is obviously because of they ran in, or this is obviously Kenny is in a bad mood and
he's the first person he's seen, blah blah blah
Yeah.
blah blah.
I am looking forward to Good Brothers versus Lucha Brothers eventually.
Oh yeah, it'll be fucking
Yeah,
wicked.
That'll
Yeah,
be it.
that's
I'm
gonna
not
be really good.
complaining, but it was just weird.
So moving on from weird, we have the Inner Circle Tag Team Challenge.
I think you'll find
MJF.
it's the Inner Circle. That's what JR said on the commentary.
Oh yes, sorry, the Inter Circle.
My favourite team.
MJF and Jericho versus Jake Hagar and Sammy Guevara, or Sammy Hagar. Liked a little video message earlier from Sammy Hagar from Van Halen, which I thought was obviously mate of Jericho's to get that one. Versus Proud and Powerful. MJF wins with a roll up and a handful of trunks. What did you guys think of the match, and what score did you give it?
I really enjoyed this. The combo music for each of them was a bit weird, but I quite liked it as an idea, even if it did cost the full Judas song on the way in. Is the song just called Judas? Probably. And the little video from Sammy Hagar explained to me who Sammy Hagar was. He's a person. Good work for sending him 15 quid on Cameo. Anyway, match starts off. I really liked MJF putting Jericho against Sammy straight off. Once again, that's the Machiavellian storytelling in the work. He was like his child. They can fight each other. Sammy taunting Jericho was great. There were a couple of soft-looking drop kicks, but nah. Then Santana and Ortiz got in the ring, and they're so good together. Their tag team work is just fucking phenomenal. And Ortiz did a Russian leg sweep roll through into submission. That was fucking cool. Ortiz has got a huge repertoire, and I don't think we
appreciate it enough.
Yeah, we appreciate it enough. The Hager hot tag was actually good.
It was great in this match.
It was fucking really good. I'm going to cover my favorite moment, Hager moment after, because it's when he's tagged back in. There was a perfect moment of timing when Sammy hit a cutter onto MJF, and MJF proper fucking rock sold over his head into the corner for the blind tag from Proud and the Powerful.
Beautiful.
First one for a Spanish fly, obviously. And then possibly my absolute favourite moment of the match was when they threw the baseball bat to Jericho, and it was Hager, and he tried the little heel thing, and Hager kicked him in the face so hard.
Just killed him.
I wrote down "fuck" about how hard it was.
Then he knows the ring as well.
I was about to say, no told the ring straight away. I love the fact that Hager is so dumb and powerful, he can't be outwitted because he knows.
So good. I love this character, just this dumb brute. It's beautiful.
Yeah. I didn't get too mad with the false falls because the counts were rotating through different people. Ortiz almost reached Trent levels of hit point, but it didn't feel bad. Sammy just looked like a fucking champion through it. Obviously, we got the dirty win with, well, I say dirty win, the trunks pull doesn't really count if you ask me.
No.
I gave it a high B. I had a great time. I enjoyed Hager. I enjoyed Proud and the Powerful are just so good. I enjoyed them heel shenanigans against each other. I enjoyed Sammy and Jericho's relationship falling apart in a match and MJF spurring that on. Yeah, really good. I had a great time.
I think the one bit you missed is where Sammy did the Naito move, of where he does the backflip off the ropes into the Tranquilo position. That's the only thing you missed about that. Yeah, this was fantastic. This was great. I have nothing bad to say about it, apart from the actual tag team in the Inner Circle didn't win the tag team match. That's the only bad thing. Yeah, it's the only bad thing I've got to say about this. It's a high B, maybe an A.
The only... they only get away with it because MJF did the tight. And I know what you say about the trunks, but a handful of tights is a classic heel move for the extra leverage. We know it. It's a trope. We know that's what it does in wrestling. And only that, because I wanted Proud and Powerful to win this. But throughout the match, I started wanting Sammy and Hager to win. So they did do a very good job of having a match with 3 heel teams where they actually made one of them to be a face, inverted commas, a protagonist team for me, with Sammy taking the beat down and getting the hot tag to the big dumb brute. I thought Hager was really good in this. Yeah. High B, possibly an A.
Yeah.
I might be with Muir. I'm tempted to push it. I'm going to say fuck it. Yeah, I'm upping my rank to an A. Might be a low A, but it's an A.
I'm with you because I'm on the other side. I think I was prepared for Proud and the Powerful to lose, and I think they should have, because this is the slow deconstruction of the Inner Circle by MJF. And obviously it's a 3-man tag where your team might not necessarily be in the ring. So, it's not a regular tag battle. So, yeah, I'm with you. I'm taking this to an A, unless Muir counters it.
No problem with that. This is the best Hager match I've seen. I've seen a lot of Hager, sadly.
I think he had one good match back in Lucha.
He had a good match in this one. We really liked him.
Yeah,
we
was
really
great.
enjoyed him against Luchasaurus. We complimented some of those earlier on. When he's got somebody he can fucking ruck against, he's really good. When you try to give him a full match where you're just watching him, it's not so good. Tag might be the best place for him, to be completely honest.
Yeah, I think he'd be great in the tag team division.
He was
not
really
that we need more tags.
He was good in the tag team back in Dub Z days as well. I know what you mean, but to be fair, this company is supposed to be built around tag teams, so you probably need less singles wrestlers.
Yeah, fair. Either or.
Yeah. So that was our review of Dynamite. Mr. Strange, using the powers of science.
Right, we've got a bunch of C's, 2 A's and 2 B's, but I don't feel those C's out-counter everything, so mathematically, it's a B. But we have no bonus Dubsy double bread or anything this week, so
we got plus 1 Spanish fly?
Oh, we always have plus 1 Spanish fly. Spanish flies are becoming more and more common, and I will never get bored of them. All of you can do Spanish flies.
Say this, but then we used to all love the Destroyer, mate.
Yeah, valid point. Yeah, B-rank show. It was actually really entertaining, really good. The lows don't really drop it down too much. Really solid, good story work all over the place as well, to be honest. Bringing that back, telling us a bit more what's going on.
Yeah.
As long as they don't expect me to start watching Impact regularly with some of this crossover stuff, I'm happy. I appreciate a crossover universe and I enjoy them, but I don't have time.
I think currently the way they are doing it, it isn't. You don't need to watch Impact to enjoy AEW. If you watch Impact, you've got an invasion going on, and there's a thing happening on Impact. I think it's its own micro universe.
Oh, actually, it could be a B plus 1 Happy Hager. We're not used to that. There we go.
Happy
Little Happy Hager. Championships.
I love
championships.
Why does everybody we hate become somebody we love? We hated the Dark Order. We hated Hangman.
Because
We've liked Hager doing these little dumbass one-liners for a while, actually, to be fair.
Yeah, true.
Like when he was cradling Jericho after he got hit by the bottle, like you'd just been shocked and shit like that.
Yeah.
I love him when he's playing a 40k Ogren. That's his best character.
Yeah, he's good at playing dumb. Right, moving on. Yeah. Questions. I don't believe we've got any this week. I have
a dry week, sadly.
Yeah. So if you'd like to send us a question, you can send it to wrestleopinionated@gmail.com, WrestleOP on Facebook, WrestleOP1 on Twitter. Maybe you can send us a question, something to rant about. We haven't ranted about anything in ages. You could also, maybe, you've got a favourite match that we haven't put in our lists and you'd like to hear what we think about that favourite match. And this week, in our 15-week run of favourite matches, it was one of Mr. Muir's picks, and therefore you have the job of explaining the backstory to it.
Oh God, not Lucha Underground backstory. Right,
we'll be here to help. It is Rey Fenix or Phoenix versus Mil Muertes in a Grave Consequences match. Backstory, and then what did you guys think of the match?
Right, the backstory to this is Katrina, as far as I can remember, which has always been Mil's evil wizard that raised him from the dead when he was underneath.
Also a ghost.
Also a ghost, yes, sorry.
Yeah.
She raised him from the dead with the evil rock when his home was crushed by an earthquake when he was 6, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Yep, okay. So now she's trying to get with Phoenix because he has 1,000 lives, so she's trying to steal the life essence. Trying to steal his life essence so she can come back to being alive instead of a weird ghost creature, if that's correct. And basically
she's abandoned Mil to go for Phoenix.
Yeah, but he's fought back and got his stone, so he has his strength back, if I remember correctly. Because he only used to have full strength when she lifted up the rock, but now he owns the rock.
God, it's just the fucking best story written
in
wrestling.
It's such bollocks, I love it.
Now, this may sound like, a bunch of bollocks. This was amazing. So, Mr. Strange, you're our usual play-by-play guy for matches. I know this is one that it was on all three of our lists.
I love the Day of the Dead at the start of this.
Oh.
People come out with the coffins. It's beautiful.
I'm going to compliment whilst I was thinking about it. The problem with extravagant entrances, often in WWE and AEW, is the walkways are so long. So when you've got a parade or something, it goes
takes
on
12 years.
Whereas their doors are like 3 meters. So
Undertaker is still walking to the ring from his WrestleMania 25 match.
Can I just say one thing?
Randy and Edge fighting.
No, you say this is long, but ain't Wrestle Kingdom 15 long, is it, boys?
Mate, the Wrestle Kingdom walkway, it must have been at least 150 meters. Even Slovenly Doucheman, who is my favourite, got a bit of a jog on. Right, this match, my first note is just, I fucking miss it, bros. Just the walking out, the temple.
I miss the temple so much.
The atmosphere is so good. And Mil shows up first in his pyjama bottoms.
I've got that's my first note. Why is he wearing his pyjama bottoms?
Well, it's Mil. He just got out of bed for Phoenix.
Doesn't need to pretend that he's hard. He's just hard.
But he looks like a fucking wall.
Yeah, this man is built like
a tank.
Yeah.
He looked so good. His mask is literally the logo of the company. He's just fucking wicked, and he opens with a tope suicida that actually looks like it would hurt. And I don't just mean it's not like he did a push and hit him with his arms and he went into a
just
railing.
Slammed into Phoenix.
He just fucking hurled into him. And Mil Muertes got to be about 200 and something plus pounds. It's just brutal and fast from the opening, and in honesty, it doesn't really slow down for Phoenix at any point. And you can see why Phoenix is king of bumps. At one point, he goes for a tope at full Phoenix speed at Mil on the outside, who just lifts up a coffin. And sure, it's like a plastic and wood sort of safer coffin, but Phoenix just hits it face first.
Mate, it's brutal.
That thing is metal. That thing is metal.
Yeah, it's like aluminium, isn't it? Yeah. Then we get the mass tear for Ultimate Ultimate heel, and you think maybe this is time that Phoenix's time for a comeback.
No, mate.
It isn't. The crowd is chanting, "We want blood." Imagine that from any other promotion. We actually get to see our second consecutive bottom rope takeoff.
Yeah.
But as opposed to in our previous show, which was so he couldn't break up a submission, Mill just gets the steel screw bit. I've held one of those. They're about 8 to 12 inches long, cast iron normally. Starts fucking beating Phoenix with it, and we get blood. Beats him with it, chokes him with it. They fight up the stairs, and they actually make it up the stairs at a reasonable speed. There's none of this wrestling sort of slappy, I walk backwards slowly. They fucking Phoenix is trying to run from Mill, and Mill is chasing him onto the roof of Dario's office, which is great. It looks like
cheered when they got onto the roof of Dario's office. I miss Dario's office.
Such a good little thing, and but as opposed to anybody getting thrown off or jumped off it, he just Mill just slams Phoenix's head into the extraction unit, which is nice. I've never seen that done in wrestling before. The crowd brawling, like but wrestling has crowd brawling. It doesn't have crowd brawling like Lucha Underground has. Crowd
yeah,
brawling.
if you watch crowd brawling in Dub Z, you will have a bunch of security guards standing there holding the crowd back with their arms. Like in Lucha Underground, the crowd just moves because
the way.
Yeah, you don't want to be there.
Phoenix does a moonsault in this match, and before he pulls it off, he's literally got his hand like on the side of one guy's face and shoulder in the crowd. Fucking grabbing people and stuff. Phoenix eats so much shit in this match. It's arguably a borderline squash match, but it doesn't feel like a squash match because he tries to fight back.
Yeah.
Mill is established as this beast in it. He is the fucking... It's like if somebody had the power level of John Cena, but the gimmick of Kane in WWE. It just doesn't fucking stop. Then they go into the wooden chairs again. And there's a bit where Mill throws like 3 wooden chairs just into Phoenix's face. Just into him. Then the steel railings, which now I've thought about it, are arguably softer than regular wrestling railings. They've got a bit of give. They're a crisscross pattern. But because they're set in wood and the crowd are leaning on them, it just looks fucking brutal. And yeah, he just sort of... It's an anime finish. Phoenix gets a bit of a comeback just enough after Mills put himself in a bad position. He does the weakest part of the matches are Phoenix's return slaps at that bit. He just sort of just go over him for a bit, but then he fucking kicks him in the face and rope walks and fucking drop kicks him or stomp kicks him into the coffin. It's a weird one because normally I'm not so pro such one-sided matches. But it just goes on, and like there's like running blood in this, and they go through the fucking into the announcer's table, which doesn't give, which is arguably worse.
Yeah.
And he just gets it back at the end with just enough motion after Mills taking out Katrina, even though she's a ghost. That knocks him enough off his game so that
he gets a bit upset that his wizard mama's hurt, so then he gets distracted.
Yeah. There's just enough of a comeback that Mill goes into the coffin. Just enough, but it's
just there.
It's 20 minutes of brutality, and it's wonderful. Basically.
I think my favorite move for this was when Phoenix tries to go to the top rope and Mill just jumps up with him and then knees him to the face, pulling him down. Just like, oh Jesus, please stop.
I had forgotten what a beatdown this was.
Yes, mate, it's brutal.
But it is so good. I mean, this is how you make a babyface comeback look good. I was going to say, I've uploaded a link to this on our Facebook page if you'd like to go and watch it.
But you should watch all of Lucha Underground.
Yeah, you should watch. Which most of it is now on YouTube. You can. I will say maybe a content warning for blood, though I don't think it's a serious one with this one. It's this standard wrestling blood. There is another match on our list where I'm going to put a content warning up before it.
Jesus. Yeah.
This is just a solid, brutal match. It is really good. The Man of 1,000 Deaths versus the Man of 1,000 Lives, and yeah, this is just solid.
This is what I want to see with my faces. I want to see them going through the fucking juggernaut of Mill to, get a win. His win is worth so much more for the pain and suffering he's gone through.
Yeah.
This
was a solid match. Any other thoughts before I roll the random number generator and find out what we're reviewing next week?
It's nice to see what could effectively be a squash done well with a comeback finish. Give me more like that, basically. It's like a longer version of Mox Comoroto, 20 minutes of it, but they annihilate each other instead.
Yeah.
Oh, Mill annihilates Phoenix. Watch Lucha Underground. Okay, you can roll the thingy now, Morg.
Okay, so it's another Muir.
Oh!
We're moving away from Lucha Underground.
Japan.
And no, we are moving to a little-known promotion called AEW.
Oh, an actual AEW match.
It's Pac versus Kenny Ironman.
Oh. Which has got one of my favourite things in an Iron Man match ever in it.
Yes, mate.
Yeah.
More on that next week.
More on that next week. Yes. So there you have it. That's our show for this week. We'd like to thank Anchor.fm for hosting the podcast. If you want to find us, we are Wrestleopinionated on Anchor.fm, on Spotify and on YouTube. Mr. Muir.
Thank you very much for listening as always. It's been great fun. If you have any questions or anything you'd like to send to us, please send it to wrestleopinionated@gmail.com, WrestleOP on Facebook, and WrestleOP1 on Twitter. Over to you, Strange.
Thank you very much for listening. We really do appreciate it. If you could click that little like button if you're on YouTube, or the little 5 top radio thingy on Spotify, or whatever it is on Anchor. If you're also on YouTube, click the little bell. Share, like. What's the other thing the algorithm
subscribe and comment. Subscribe and comment.
Thanks, Morgan. Please like, subscribe, share, comment, hit the bell, send me your postal address, and I'll send you reminders. Thanks for listening. Please pass us on to other people who like wrestling. We appreciate you. Back to you, Morg.
That's all left to be said. Is goodbye and good night.